Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Shushmita Basu Majumdar from the Department of Ancient Indian History and Culture, University of Calcutta. Today in the course Indian Culture and the subject Indian Numismatics, we will be taking up the module Coins of the Guptas. So let us begin the Indian Numismatic course on Coins of the Guptas. The Guptas are a major power of northern India who started ruling in the 4th century CE, and they issued lot of coins mainly in gold. So the learning objectives of this class are emergence of the Gupta coins, an overview of the coins of the Gupta rulers, Gupta weight standard, understanding the circulation of Gupta currency, a macro understanding of the types of Gupta coins, silver coins and the circulation zones, introduction to lead and the copper coins of the Guptas. In the 4th century, the Guptas came to power in northern India. After the Kushans, they were one of the major powers to have issued gold coins in large numbers. Guptas issued coins in 4 metals: gold, silver, copper and lead. Their silver coins were actually minted only for the Western territory. So were the lead coins. The Guptas followed the Kushan gold tradition. There is a distinct continuity of the dinar standard and the device standing king on the obverse and Ardoksho seated on a high-backed throne on the rivers. On the screen you can see a Kushana coin which was minted by one of the last Kushana rulers, and his name is mentioned as Shaka on the coins. The Gupta coins are far superior in their execution. On the coins you can see that the trousers are replaced by Indian dhoti and the form of the coat is changed. In the place of the trident which the Kushana rulers held in their left hand, the Gupta rulers hold a spear or a standard or a battle axe or bow and arrow and a sword. The trident which is seen in the right wheel is replaced here by the Garuda headed standard which is known as Garuda Dhwaja, the royal insignia of the Gupta dynasty. The Guptas retained the method of placing the name of the king perpendicularly in vertical order on the left hand. They placed a circular Brahmi inscription around the king towards the edge of the flank. On the reverse, goddess Ardoksho is seen seated on a high-backed throne holding a cornucopia in her left arm and a fillet in her right, was retained on the early Gupta coins. Gradually, Ardoksho was changed to the Indian goddess Lakshmi. The name of the deity that is seen on the Kushan coins is now replaced here with the epithet of the issuing king. To begin with, one of the earliest members of the Gupta dynasty who issued coins is Chandragupta I. But we have Sri Gupta and Ghatotkacha who probably preceded Chandragupta I, though we know about them from the inscriptions, but they did not issue any coins. Even numismatists are not unanimous in their opinion about attributing certain coins to Chandragupta I. Initially, a typical type which was known as Chandragupta Kumaradevi type was attributed to Chandragupta I, and it was mentioned that it is a celebration of the marriage of Chandragupta with the Lichavi princess, that is Kumaradevi. As on the reverse of those coins, you find the legend Lichavaya. But later, the numismatists have termed it or have designated it to Samudragupta. So now the Chandragupta Kumaradevi type is seen as a kind of a commemorative coin being issued by Samudragupta, commemorating the matrimonial alliance or marriage alliance between the Lichavis and the Guptas. Recently, another coin type has been attributed to Chandragupta I, which you can see on the screen. This is a kind of a king and queen type, but once again, this has also not been unanimously accepted. Let us see the Kushan connection once again. One of the last Kushans, that is the Kidarite Kushan, Piros, who issued coins sometime in 345-350 CE. His coins are very similar to a typical type of coins issued by Samudragupta. On the screen you can see both the coins of Piros and Samudragupta, and immediately you can identify the connection between the two. How the Guptas imitated the coins of the Kushanas, or imitated the devices on the coins of the Kushanas, and maintained the continuity of their gold currency. Now here you have a coin of Samudragupta, which is archer type, and on the reverse you have the legend Apriti Ratha. The most common Gupta coin type is the archer type, wherein the king is shown holding a bow in his left hand. This type was issued by the rulers of the dynasty, almost all of them. Now we move on to another type, which is known as the scepter type or the standard type. I will be introducing you to the types of the Gupta currency or the types of the Gupta coinages, and it is not possible to introduce you to all the types. So I'll be taking up only the major types of the Guptas, and from all the varieties, that is all the gold coins, silver coins, lead coins, and even copper coins. So we will be doing only the major types and like an overview. So here is a coin issued by Samudragupta, which is known as scepter type or standard type, and on the reverse you can see the deity seated, and this is our dog show now turning gradually into Lakshmi, and we have the legend Parakrama on the reverse. This coin was issued by Samudragupta. Here on the obverse you can see the king standing left, holding bow in the left hand, while right hands hold an arrow. Garuda standard is on the left, Samudra written beneath the king's left arm, and you can also see a long legend which has been displayed here. It reads Aprati Ratho Vijitya Shiting Shucharitair Divang Jayati. On the reverse you can see the goddess seated on a high backed throne as in the Kushan coins, holding a fillet in the outstretched right hand and a cornucopia in the left hand. And as I mentioned, on the left is the legend Parakrama. This is another type which we have mentioned as issued by Samudragupta, and this is known as the king and queen type or the Chandragupta Kumar Devi type. On the obverse you have the names of Chandragupta and Kumar Devi, and on the reverse you have the legend Lichavaya, celebrating the marriage alliance between Chandragupta and Kumar Devi. This is now attributed to Samudragupta. Now let us move to another type which is popularly known as the battle axe type. On this type you can see Samudragupta standing, and the legend on the obverse reads Samudra, and on the reverse you have the goddess seated, and the legend is Kritanta Parashuh. Samudragupta had issued these types which may be placed in this series. He holds a battle axe, his right hand is on his hip, and to his right stands a dwarf. On the reverse you can also see the monogram, which again is a continuity of the Kushan monograms. So here it doesn't have a meaning altogether, but this is just the continuity of the vestiges of the Kushans. Now this is a very popular type which is known as the Ashwamedha type, and on the Ashwamedha coins you can see the horse standing in front of a yupa or a altar, and on the reverse you can see a chauri bearer standing, and it reads Ashwamedha Parakrama. On the obverse we have a long metrical legend which has been displayed here. Samudragupta and Kumaragupta first had also issued special coins for distribution as dakshina or fee amongst the priests who had participated in the Ashwamedha sacrifices. These coins portray the special horse before the yupa or the sacrificial post on one side and the goddess of victory Vijaya with a fly disc on the other. On some of the Ashwamedha type coins, we also find the legend Hayamedha Parakrama, which also means, Haya also means the same as Ashwa. Now let us see another type issued by Samudragupta, which is popularly known as the lyrist type. Here Samudragupta is shown as playing a veena, and on the reverse you can see the goddess seated on a wicker tool. This is the tiger slayer type coin of Samudragupta, and on the reverse you can see the legend Raja Samudragupta. Here Samudragupta is seen as slaying a tiger. Another popular type is also known as the Kacha type. There is again a controversy about the attribution of these coins. Some believe that Kacha was a contender of Samudragupta and he issued coins in his own name. But however, these coins were issued during the time of Samudragupta. Even if they were issued by Kacha, he was contemporary to Samudragupta, or if they are attributed to Samudragupta, then definitely these coins conform to the whole device which he has been issuing. And here on the reverse we see the legend Sarvarajo Chetta, which has also been seen on the Gupta inscriptions being used for Samudragupta. Now let us move to the coins of Chandragupta II. Here we have the most popular scepter type or the standard type, and on the reverse you see the same goddess seated, that is Lakshmi, holding a cornucopia in her hand, and the legend reads Parama Bhagavata. So the Gupta rulers who were followers of Vishnu or devotees of Vishnu mentioned themselves as Parama Bhagavatas. They are also mentioned in their inscriptions by the same term, that is Parama Bhagavata. Chandragupta II also issued the archer type coin. As I have mentioned, this is the most popular type of the Gupta coins, and on the reverse you can clearly read the legend Sri Vikrama, and Chandragupta's time frame is 375 to 414 CE. Here gradually on these coins you see that Ardaksha is now turning into Lakshmi. So a major Indianization process actually started with the coins of Chandragupta II, because what we had seen earlier is the continuation of the Ardaksha type from the Kushan coinage, but here Ardaksha has been turned to Lakshmi and she is now seated on a lotus. So this is an indication of the Indianization process which Chandragupta II started. Here is another coin of Chandragupta II, which is a lion slayer type coin, and on the reverse you can read Singha Vikrama. On the obverse the king is standing to left, holding a bow in the left hand, stretching the string with the right hand up to the ear, shooting at a lion, which is on the left. The legend reads Narendra Chandra Prati Tarano Rane Jayatya Jayo Bhuvi Singha Vikrama. On the reverse we have the goddess riding on a lion to left, holding lotus in her right hand. Left hand is resting on the lion. The legend is Singha Vikrama. On a particular type of coins of Chandragupta II, you can see a horseman, that is Chandragupta on a horse, and on the reverse you can read Ajita Vikrama. So this is the horseman type issued by Chandragupta II. Chandragupta's Chhatra type coins are very interesting, and here you have the legend Vikramaditya. Here you can see a dwarf holding a chhatra or a parasol on Chandragupta. The king is standing to left and right hand is on the hilt of the sword, the dwarf behind holding a parasol over the king. The metrical legend on the right. Reverse has the goddess standing to left, holding a fillet in her right hand and the lotus in the left, and the legend is Vikramaditya. Chandragupta II's couch type. Here also the legend is found as Vikramaditya or Sri Vikramaditya. And here you can see Chandragupta being seated on a couch. He has one of his feet hanging down and the other feet is on the couch. Some scholars believe that this should be attributed to Chandragupta first. However, we are not very sure about this, whether to attribute them to Chandragupta II or to Chandragupta first. Till this problem is solved, let us still think that they belong to Chandragupta II. Now let us move to the coins of Kumaragupta. Kumaragupta issued several types of coins, and on his coins we have the title Sri Mahendra or Mahindraditya, which is another name or epithet of Kumaragupta I, and he ruled from 415 to 455 CE. He also issued the horseman type, and on the reverse we have the legend Ajita Mahendra. Kumaragupta I's lion slayer type also has on the reverse the legend Sri Mahendra Singha or Singha Mahendra. So here Kumaragupta is also shooting an arrow on the lion, and that's why this is the lion slayer type of Kumaragupta I. And on the reverse you can see the goddess now seated on a lion. Previously we had seen that the goddess was seated on a lotus, but on this particular type of coin we find that the goddess is seated on a lion. Kumaragupta also issued tiger slayer type coins, and on the reverse we get the legend Kumaraguptodhiraja. There is another set of coins which has the depiction of the ruler on a horse, and he is killing a rhinoceros or slaying a rhinoceros, and this is popularly known as the rhinoceros slayer type. And on the reverse of the coins of Kumaragupta I we find the legend Sri Mahendra Khadga. On these coins of rhinoceros type, the king is seen riding a horse and killing a rhinoceros. This may be an allusion to the victory over Kamarupa in Assam, the land of rhinoceros. On the reverse is a dwarf holding a parasol. This has the legend Sri Mahendra Khadga, as already mentioned. Then there is another very popular type which is known as the elephant rider type, and here we have the title Sri Mahendra Gaja, and the goddess is standing on the reverse. The swordsman type of Kumaragupta I has the legend Sri Kumaragupta on the reverse, and here the goddess is seated and she is seen on a lotus. This is again another popular type issued by Kumaragupta, where Kumaragupta is seen feeding a peacock, and some scholars believe that he is actually throwing away pearls, and there is the depiction of a peacock because his name is Kumara, which is the name of Kartikeya, and that is the reason why on the reverse Kartikeya is depicted seated on a peacock, and the reverse legend reads Mahendra Kumara. Kumaragupta's time frame, once again I reiterate, it's 415 to 454-55 CE. Another type of coin of Kumaragupta is the Aprathiga type. This is very interesting type, though much explanation has not been given about this type. On the obverse of these coins, we find a male figure in the center facing front. To his right and left, figures are there who are talking to him. Kumaragupta is found engraved on two parts on the either side of the central figure. The legend is all around the coin, and the goddess is seated on the lotus facing, and here you find this is the typical reverse device, and it reads Apratigha. That's why this type is known as the Aprathiga type. The Aprathiga type might be the celebration of a kind of an event, though we cannot explain much about the event, but this definitely is a very major event which took place during the reign of the ruler. Now let us move to the coins of Skandagupta, who was a successor of Kumaragupta and ruled from 455 to 467 CE. Here you can see the king and queen type issued by Skandagupta. On the reverse, the goddess is seated on a lotus, and you can read the legend Sri Skandagupta. So we have just seen few major types of gold coins issued by the Guptas. Now on your screen is a very interesting coin which was attributed to a Gupta ruler till now, but now recently scholars have shown that this particular horseman type was not issued by the Guptas, rather it was issued by the Hunas, and Prakashaditya can be attributed to Toramana, as the legend on the coin reads Avanipati Toramano Vijitya Vasudhang Divang Jayati, and then you have the legend on the rivers Shri Prakashaditya. So these coins of the horseman type now have been attributed to the Hunas, and this horseman actually looks very different from the horseman type of the Guptas. Here you can see the horseman is bent towards the front, and on the Gupta coins the horseman is very different from this one, as we have already seen. Now let us move to the silver coins of the Guptas. As I had already mentioned that the Guptas issued silver coins only for their western territories, but some silver coins have also been issued for the central Indian territories. So let us see the coins, that is the silver coins of the Guptas. Now the silver coins are not issued in the dinar standard, they are issued in the same standard as the coins of the western Kshatrapa. Here on the screen you can see the coins issued by Chandragupta II, who ruled from 375 to 414 CE, and on the obverse you have the bust of the ruler and the legend, and on the reverse you have a Garuda with spreaded wings and a circular legend as seen on the coins of the western Kshatraps. So Chandragupta II, who defeated Rudrasingha III, a western Kshatrapa ruler, imitated the coin type of this western Kshatrapa ruler, so much so that even his portrait or the bust resembles that of the last western Kshatrap ruler. Kumargupta I also issued similar type of coins, that is the Garuda type of coins for the western territory, and the coin which you can see below has a fan-tailed peacock with its plumage unfurled, and this type was not issued for the western territories but only issued for the central Indian territories by Kumargupta I. So we have two varieties, one is for the western territories and the other is for the central Indian territories. Similar coins were also issued by Skandagupta, but he changed the device to a bull because Skandagupta was a Shaiva, and we find the depiction of a bull on the reverse and the bust on the obverse. There are also depictions of fire altar instead of bull on certain silver coins. The variety of fan-tail peacock which I have mentioned belongs to central India, was issued only from the time of Kumaragupta I. The bust here is slightly different in style from the ones seen on the coins issued for the western territory. This type was later followed by the powers who came here and actually followed the tradition of the silver coinage of the Guptas. These are the powers which can be mentioned as the Hunas, the Maukharis, the Vardhanas, the only difference being the bust, which now faces left instead of facing right on the Gupta coins. So the Hunas, the Maukharis and the Vardhanas issued the similar type of coins, that is a fan-tailed peacock, in their territories. Here you can see on the screen the silver coins issued by Skandagupta, who ruled, as I have mentioned, from 455 to 467 CE, and Buddhagupta was the last ruler who had control over these western territories and who issued silver coins. Now let us move to the issue of copper coins of the Guptas. Gupta copper coins are rare and were issued mainly by Chandragupta II and Kumargupta I. These are known in 7 or 8 varieties and follow the gold or silver patterns for their obverse. For the reverse, the Gupta royal seal served as the prototype. It bears a Garuda with spreaded wings, spread at the top, and the name and title of the king below it. So it's divided into 2 halves. From Malwa, particularly from Vidisha and Aran, a large number of tiny copper coins, similar in form and fabric to the coins of the Nagas, have come to light. They bear the name Ramagupta. He was the brother of Chandragupta II and the first husband of Queen Dhruva Devi, as known from Devi Chandragupta. So these coins are known in several varieties, lion seated to left, lion standing to right, Garuda with outspread wings, vase with or without a creeper, etc. You can see some of the Gupta copper coins here with the spreaded wings type and divided into halves, and on the obverse you have the king in the Tribhanga posture. On the reverse, as I have mentioned, the spreaded wing Garuda on the upper half, and on the lower half you have the legend reading or mentioning the name of the ruler. Now the last phase, that is the lead coins of the Guptas. The Guptas issued lead coins. Some square lead coins of Chandragupta II, Kumargupta I and Skandagupta have come to light in the recent years from Gujarat and Malwa region. They are in the tradition of the Western Kshatrapa lead coins. So now we have seen that the Guptas, who were a major power, actually continued the devices found on the Kushana coinage. They made several innovations and issued several types. They issued coins in gold, silver, copper and lead. These are the four metals, and when we look at the regional distribution, we find that silver and lead were only issued for the Western territories, whereas gold coins circulated in the overall Gupta Empire. For the Gupta gold coins, we get the term dinara in epigraphs. The term was used by the Kushans, which reflect the continuity of the tradition. The term originally denoted Roman silver coins of denarius standard, which the Kushans adopted for their gold currency. It is very imperative to talk about the metrology of the Gupta coins. The Gupta gold coin, as I have already mentioned, follows the Kushana tradition, which is approximately of 8 grams, or when we take it in grains, it's 121 grains. But gradually we see that the weight starts increasing and it's not very unanimous. So from 121 it gets increased to a large extent, and there is another standard which is known as the Suvarna standard, that is the 80 Rati standard, which is a little above 9 grams, and when we measure it in grains, it can be mentioned as 144 grains. So Skandagupta apparently abandoned the dinar standard of approximately 8 grams and changed it to the Suvarna standard. This is one of the notions which you will find in all the textbooks. Some gold coins are of abnormally low weight. These coins weigh around 95 to 110 grains, and these have been found all over the Gupta Empire. For these abnormally low weight coins, Altekar has given the theory of remainder coins. So you can, for knowing more about it, you can read Altekar's theory on the remainder coins. Silver coins of the Guptas follow the Western Kshatrapa weight standard, as I have already mentioned, and this weight standard was 2.2 to 2 grams. And the copper coins have no definite weight standards. Few copper specimens have been reported. They vary largely in weight. So the Guptas are a very major power who ruled in northern India and issued several coins. Thank you for visiting EPG Pathshala and learning this course with me. This course module has been prepared by myself and Amiteshwar Jha. Thank you.